Hey everybody, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser, and I'm here to welcome you today to enter the Poserverse. It's Tuesday, which means you know I'm talking about what books I'm reading or planning on picking up on tomorrow's new comic book day, which is November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to everybody who served. 2020. So find out what books have made the pull list after this. This is a light week for me. There are only 20 books that I think I'm picking up. It might be 2 or 3 more because remember, this is what I get for my primary LCS, so if there's a Ninja Turtles book coming out, then I might have it and 1 or 2 other small things over at the second shop here in town, but we'll see. So coming up, number 1 is American Ronin number 2 from AWA. I really liked the first book of this, that it's, you know, some kind of crazy assassination dealing with, or a crazy assassin dealing with a large corporation. It's got a cyberpunk feel because there's some cybernetics in there, some body modification. You see that they're terrified of who the assassin is because he's real good at his job, and we start to get some more background information. Number 2 from... I don't have any. You can look in the bed. Number 2 from Dark Horse is Bill and Ted Are Doomed. Number 3. In book 2, they launched their world tour, and it was not going very well.
There's one more.
Okay. It was not going very well. You're starting to see some conflict with the leader of like a rival metal band that wants death to all of the fake metal in the world. So if I'm concerned at all about pruning my pull list down, I like this title, but I could definitely see myself trade waiting on this since I already have a big omnibus of other things, Bill and Ted, that it would fit together on the shelf. But next, from Marvel, the Ten of Swords events continues. We have either 2 or 3 books this week. We have Excalibur number 14, where we are on the verge of the tournament starting, maybe. What happened at the end of Wolverine number 7 was right. It was Wolverine number 7. Yeah. No. Whatever happened at the last book, I don't remember what title it was now because they're just individual titles, but whatever book it is doesn't matter because it's a chapter. Was crazy because we start to see some action that I didn't know it would be that severe, that maybe I missed some of the big telegraphing. But this event's heating up. It's getting real good. And I'm glad that I am and have been pulling all of them. From DC, we get The Flash number 765. I didn't like the first book from this writer. The second book was okay. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with the use of the Philosopher's Stone and transmutation and all of that stuff in the third book. So maybe it's not going to be as bad as I thought it would be. So The Flash is safe for another issue or 2, probably to finish an arc, and then I'll see if I like it as much as I did Williamson's run. Next up from IDW is G.I. Joe number 10. We get to see more Dr. Mindbender action, that he is doing some experiments in the world where the G.I. Joes have figured out some of the plans for like the robot things that are happening. It's weird, but it's interesting. So if you want a new take on G.I. Joe, you can find these issues probably on the cheap. Next up from DC is Green Lantern Season 2, number 9. This book is still wild. I still like it. I like that this has a very old Green Lantern cover feel to it, like a very Silver Age kind of look. It's good. Grant Morrison is doing some cool things on this book. Pick it up. Next for Marvel is Iron Man number 3. I liked number 2 much better than I did number 1. So I like seeing the start of some of the conflict that's happening. I'm pretty sure we saw an arcade appearance in Iron Man number 2. You've already heard me talk a million times how much I like him. But Cantwell is definitely doing some stuff with Tony Stark or with Iron Man that we haven't seen before. And if you want to compare this to the more recent Iron Man property, the Iron Man 2020 stuff, That was not so good, but I think Cantwell is doing some really good things. Alright, Marauders number 15. You saw how confused I was with what happened in which chapter of which book, but if you're loving the Ten of Swords event, pick these up. If not, pick them up and trade. I like it. I might do both. Next from Aftershock is Miskatonic number 1. This is a, like, Cthulhu mythos kind of tale, right? The Miskatonic is the nod to the river in Lovecraft's writings, but it's like a Cthulhu cult noir crime book. Weird combination of things that I sound hesitant of now, but I'll probably like, because you all know the kinds of things that I love to read. Next from Boom Studios is Power Rangers number 1. Last week we got Mighty Morphin number 1, which was pretty interesting. This week we get the second series that will be concurrently running in Power Rangers number 1. I'm still getting all of my bearings straight based on what was happening in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and what Draken New Dawn had to do with all this and kind of connecting the dots. It was good. I'm a little confused, but that's just because I'm dumb. Next from DC, we get the much anticipated Punchline one-shot. I like Punchline. I thought she was an interesting character. You know that the way she was written at the end of the Joker War arc, that she's going to play some kind of crazy role in New Gotham, since she kind of put out the I was brainwashed and people should feel empathetic for me angle. So I don't know what to expect from this one shot, but I'm gonna like it because I was on team Punchline is interesting to me, unlike a lot of people who were very dissatisfied with her. Next up is Sasquatch Love number 2 from Action Lab Comics. I'm gonna be skeptical that this one actually comes out this week, because when I did my pull list video a couple weeks ago when Sasquatch Love number 1 was supposed to come out, it got pushed to coming out this last week. So if I get 2 books of it back to back, I'll take it, because I like Sasquatch Love number 1. If you watched yesterday's video, it is in my top 5. Next up from IDW is Scarenthood number 1. This book is about parents who drop their kids off at preschool and then go monster hunting. Cool. Maybe that's what I'll start doing after I drop my kids off at daycare, instead of teaching or putting together B- or C+ comic book videos on YouTube that my wife and I will become ghost and monster hunters. But the premise of it seems kind of fun, so we'll give it a go, and we'll see if it sticks. It probably will. Next up from Boom Studios is Seven Secrets number 4. I think I'm one of 10 people that I've heard say that they don't like this book that much. That to me it's felt too disjointed. That I'm going to give it one more shot, and then I'll probably, if the hype stays up, pick it up and trade. But for as confused as, Bruce is of Bruce and Stephanie Comics about why I love Spider-Woman, I feel the same kind of way about his love of Seven Secrets. It's intriguing, but I just don't get it. No disrespect to Tom Taylor. He's still the man, and I still like his Batman run that not a lot of people did. But I don't get the hype. Speaking of hype, I love Taskmaster. He is a weird-ass character. I am sad that we are on delay to see Taskmaster show up in the MCU in the Black Widow movie. And I'm sad that this book got delayed, because it was originally supposed to come out in April. But COVID messed that up and it pushed it all the way down. But this is book 1 of, I think, 5. And you can see that I think I'm picking up 3 copies of it, because it's going to be one of my giveaway books on my Thursday night live stream, which ironically we'll talk about next. Next in from Mad Cave Studios is Terminal Punks number 1. This is by Matthew Erdman and art by Shelby Criswell. I read this 2 months ago when it was up on Mad Cave's portal. It's a brilliantly hilarious story of what would happen if Snakes on a Plane wasn't so bad in the plane, but it got gnarlier at the airport. That's what Terminal Punks is. I can make the announcement now, unless I already said something on social media by this point, that I've got an interview with Matthew Erdman on Thursday night, where we're going to talk Terminal Punks. We're going to talk about the Power Rangers trade that he just had come out.
Did you just say Power Rangers?
I did.
There's a Power Ranger book?
Yep, and we'll talk about the other things that he may have written in the past, like I might read some Care Bears because of him.
Care Bears?
Yeah.
What's a Care Bear?
It's a bear with a symbol on their chest, and it gives them power. You can't see Toby, but there he is. 2 or 3 more books. Next up from Oni Press is The Vein #2. I really like #1, where we were dealing with heists from a series of blood banks in the 40s. There we are again. We see in the description that there's some kind of hookup with the FBI. I want more of this. I need to know more. That if this is vampires plus FBI plus noir, yes please. Next Mad Cave book up this week is Villainous #2 by my dude Stoney Williams. I previewed this book and my mind was blown in terms of how quickly things happen. I want to see if Tilly decides to take the jump and deal with the evil team that was branded in the first one, or if the heroes are really the bad guys and who Tilly is with now really the good guys. Next up from Boom Studios, We Only Find Them When They're Dead #3. I love this book. The art is fantastic. Al Ewing's story is amazing. Read this book. I love it so very much. And our last book of the week is Wolverine #7, another tie-in to the Ten of Swords where I don't know what's happening, but if this connects the dots to what Wolverine did at the end of this week's books, then I'm looking for more. But I'm very excited to have 3 Ten of Swords books this week. 20 comics is a light week for me. Like I said, if there's a Ninja Turtles book coming out, then I'll pick it up at my other store. There are also two big Scout books coming out this week. #1 is the much hyped Recount. It's real good. And then the second is Concrete Jungle #2. I enjoyed that book quite a lot. That I read it on their online portal, and I think it's supposed to come in my October Scout Books box, which hasn't come yet, but that's it. That's what I'm picking up. If you think there's anything that I missed, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.